Why your coffee taste changes with the season. Have you ever bought your favorite coffee and it was literally perfect? Then, a few months later, you buy the exact same bag from the exact same place and it tastes completely different. I'm here to tell you you're not going crazy. Your coffee's flavor actually changes with the seasons, and I'm going to prove it. There are two massive secrets here. One is hiding in plain sight and smells like Christmas. But the other is a secret journey that follows the sun around the entire planet. If you stick with me, we're going to expose both of them. The obvious seasonality. Flavors of the festive calendar. Let's start with the easy one. The reason your coffee tastes different that you can smell from a block away. Seasonal flavors that are added on purpose. The second it gets a little cold outside, a switch flips. Suddenly, the entire world smells like one thing. You know what I'm talking about, pumpkin spice. The pumpkin spice latte, or PSL, is not just a drink, it is a global phenomenon. For millions of people, it's the official start of fall. But here's the insane part. The flavor we call pumpkin spice has zero pumpkin in it. It's a specific blend of spices designed to give you the feeling of a warm slice of pumpkin pie. The four main ingredients are cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and cloves. These spices are masters at making us feel cozy. Cinnamon brings a sweet warmth. Nutmeg adds a deep, complex smell. Ginger gives it a spicy kick. And cloves top it all off with a powerful spice flavor. Together, they create a flavor bomb our brains are programmed to connect with comfort, warmth, and fall. When it gets colder, we crave these richer flavors, and the coffee industry makes billions selling them to us. The psychology behind this is crazy. It taps directly into nostalgia. The smell of these spices can instantly make you think of Thanksgiving or holiday memories. It's a taste of home in a cup, and that emotional connection is why it's so popular. And then they hit you with the limited time only factor, which creates an insane sense of scarcity. We are naturally drawn to things we can't have all the time. Knowing pumpkin spice will be gone when winter comes creates a fear of missing out, or FOMO, that has us lining up to get it while we can. It's a seasonal ritual. This trend isn't just for fall. When winter hits, the warm spices are swapped out for cool, crisp holiday flavors. The peppermint mocha takes over. Here you get rich chocolate combined with bright, refreshing peppermint. It's a combination that perfectly captures the feeling of the holidays, like candy canes and cold winter nights. The same idea applies to other seasons. Summer brings lighter, fruitier flavors. Think cold brews with raspberry, lavender lattes, or iced coffees with citrus. These flavors are chosen to match the summer vibe, light, refreshing, and full of energy. So this first part is super simple. Your coffee tastes different in the fall and winter because you or your barista are literally adding flavors to it that are designed to taste like the season. We crave them because they're tied to our memories. It just proves how connected our taste and smell are to our emotions. But like I said, that's only half the story. The real secret to why your coffee's natural flavor changes is so much bigger. It's a story that starts on a mountainside thousands of miles away. To really get this, you have to stop thinking of coffee as a brown powder and start seeing it for what it is, a seasonal fruit. The hidden seasonality, the secret journey of the coffee bean. This is the part of the story most people never hear, but it is easily the most important factor in your coffee's flavor. It's the hidden seasonality, the agricultural truth that runs the entire coffee industry. Let me give you an analogy. Think about the greatest tomato you've ever eaten. I bet you didn't eat it in January. You had it in August or September, perfectly ripe, maybe even warm from the sun. It was sweet, juicy, and exploded with flavor. Now imagine a grocery store tomato in winter. It's pale, mushy, and tastes like red water. They're both tomatoes, but they are worlds apart. Why? Because one is at its absolute peak and the other is not. Coffee is exactly the same. The bean we grind is the seed of a fruit called a coffee cherry. And just like strawberries, coffee cherries are seasonal. They have a specific time of year when they are perfectly ripe and taste incredible. On the farm, a coffee plant grows these little cherries. At first, they're hard and green. If you pick a cherry when it's underripe, the coffee will taste grassy and sour. The sugars that make coffee delicious haven't had time to develop. As the cherry ripens, it turns bright red and fills with sugar. This is the magic moment, peak ripeness. A cherry picked right now has the maximum potential for sweetness and a whole spectrum of insane flavors. This is what everyone wants. But if it's left on the branch too long, it gets overripe and starts to rot. Coffee from these cherries can taste funky, boozy, or just plain gross. Just like with any fruit, timing is everything. This brings us to the most important term in coffee: fresh crop. When a coffee expert talks about fresh crop, they mean coffee from the most recent harvest. This is coffee at its absolute peak of freshness and flavor. So what about coffee that isn't fresh crop? We call that past crop. This is unroasted green coffee that's been sitting in a warehouse for a year or more. And over time, the bean starts to go bad. The delicate compounds that give coffee its amazing smell and taste are fragile. They break down. Those floral notes, that bright acidity, those juicy fruit flavors, they all disappear. The sugars degrade, so the coffee loses its sweetness. Instead, you get boring flavors. The coffee can start to taste like wood, old paper, or a burlap sack. It becomes flat and totally lifeless. This is why the best coffee roasters are obsessed with finding fresh crop coffee. They need to get those green beans when they are bursting with potential. If they start with old, faded coffee, there's nothing they can do to bring those flavors back. The magic is already gone. By the way, if you're finding this useful and want to keep learning insane coffee secrets, smash that subscribe button. We're always exposing the secrets behind the brew. A world tour of harvests. Okay, so coffee is a seasonal fruit, and fresh crop is king. This is where the story goes global. The next question is, so when is coffee season? And the answer is crazy. It depends entirely on where you are in the world. Most coffee grows in a ring around the equator called the Bean Belt. This covers Central and South America, Africa, and Asia. Since these countries are in different hemispheres with different climates, they don't all harvest at the same time. Their harvest seasons are staggered all year long. This is the secret that lets a good roaster sell you incredible coffee 365 days a year. They're basically following the sun, buying beans from whichever country is at its absolute peak harvest. Let's go on a super fast world tour. Imagine it's January. Fresh coffees from Africa are just arriving in America and Europe. Take Ethiopia, the birthplace of coffee. Their main harvest is from October to December. After shipping, these coffees land in early spring. This is when you'll find classic Ethiopian coffees at their most powerful, bursting with notes of blueberry, jasmine, and bergamot. It's an insane coffee experience. Next door, Kenya harvests around the same time. Kenyan coffees are famous for their intense acidity, often described as black currant, with a weirdly savory tomato-like flavor. These are also tasting best in the first half of the year. Now let's jump to June. Those African coffees are still good, but a new wave is arriving from Central America. Countries like Guatemala, Honduras, and Costa Rica usually harvest from November to March. By the time that coffee is ready, it's hitting the market just as summer starts. These coffees bring totally different flavors, like a Guatemalan with notes of chocolate and apple, or a Costa Rican with clean orange and brown sugar flavors. Fast forward to late summer and fall, around September. The focus shifts to South America. Brazil, the biggest coffee producer in the world, harvests from May to September. Brazilian coffees are the foundation of most espresso blends, known for their heavy body and classic chocolate and nut flavors. These fresh Brazilians start arriving just in time for fall. At the same time, Colombia is also harvesting. Because of its insane geography, Colombia actually has 2 harvests a year. This means you can find fresh Colombian coffee all the time. When it's fresh, it has a perfect balance of caramel, nuts, and a little bit of citrus. So, what does this global calendar mean for you? It means a good coffee roaster is constantly changing what they sell. The Guatemala you loved in June might get replaced by an Ethiopia in February. It's not because the Guatemalan coffee is bad, but because the Ethiopian coffee is fresher. The roaster is chasing flavor by following the harvest. This is the hidden seasonality of coffee. The change you notice in your cup is a direct result of the changing seasons on a farm halfway across the world. And this brings us to a massive modern problem: climate change. This delicate global coffee harvest is being thrown into chaos. Rising temperatures and unpredictable rain are destroying coffee farms. Heat can make cherries ripen too fast, so they don't develop any flavor. Scientists are warning that by 2050, the amount of land that can grow high-quality coffee could be cut in half. This means the coffee of the future might be dull and boring compared to what we have today. It's a huge reminder that coffee is a vulnerable crop. The aha moment, putting it all together. So now we have the two giant pieces of the puzzle. On one side, you have the obvious seasonality, the pumpkin spice and peppermint we add to coffee for the holidays. On the other, you have the hidden seasonality, the fact that coffee is a fruit, and roasters are chasing harvests around the globe. This is the moment where it all clicks. Picture this: you walk into your favorite cafe in October. The first thing you see is a huge sign for the pumpkin spice latte. The air smells like cinnamon. That's obvious seasonality, designed to cash in on our cravings. But you just order a normal pour-over. The barista says, "Great choice. We just got this new coffee from Peru." You take a sip, and it's incredible, rich, with notes of milk chocolate and almond. Tastes completely different from the zesty Guatemalan coffee you had there 2 months ago. What you're tasting is the hidden seasonality. The roaster knows that Peruvian coffees, harvested from April to September, are arriving fresh and are at their absolute peak right now. That Guatemalan coffee harvested months ago is starting to fade. It's lost that vibrant flavor it had. So the roaster made the smart move to switch, moving from a coffee at the end of its life to one that's just starting. The change you taste isn't an accident. It's a carefully planned move to make sure you always get the freshest, most delicious coffee possible. You might just think, this coffee is different, but now you know the insane global logistics that made it happen. You're tasting the shift from a Central American harvest to a South American one. This happens all year. In the winter, that chocolatey Peruvian coffee might get replaced by a super bright and floral fresh crop from Ethiopia. The change from a chocolate flavor to a fruity one is a direct result of this rotation. Your roaster is your guide to the seasons, bringing you the best coffee available right now. Yes, empowering your coffee journey. Knowing all this doesn't just solve a mystery, it gives you a superpower. You're no longer just a coffee drinker, you're an informed coffee expert. So, what can you do with this new power? First, start a conversation. Next time you're at a good coffee shop, don't just order a coffee. Ask the secret question. What's fresh right now? Or, what new coffees are you guys excited about? A real coffee nerd will light up. They will love that you asked. They might say, "You have to try this new Ethiopian. It's super fresh and has these insane blueberry notes." This conversation gets you the best coffee they have and makes you appreciate it even more. Second, become a label detective. When you buy a bag of beans, read the details. Look for the country, but go deeper. Do they list the farm? And most importantly, look for a harvest date. A harvest date is the ultimate sign of freshness. A bag that says harvested November 2024 tells you you're about to drink coffee at its absolute peak. Third, embrace the variety. Instead of trying to find one coffee that tastes the same all year, learn to love the changes. Think of yourself as a seasonal explorer. In the spring, hunt for those bright coffees from Africa and Central America. In the fall and winter, go for the richer chocolatey coffees from South America. You'll discover an entire world of flavors you never knew existed. Finally, trust your own taste. Now that you know why coffee tastes different, you can start to notice it yourself. When you taste a coffee, ask what it reminds you of. Is it bright like a lemon? Sweet like caramel? The more you taste, the more you'll build a mental database of flavors. This is the real fun of specialty coffee. It's a journey of discovery. So the reason your coffee tastes different all year isn't one thing. It's two massive forces working together. First, you have the obvious cultural seasonality. The pumpkin spice in the fall and the peppermint mocha in the winter. Flavors literally added to our coffee to make it feel like a party. And then you have the deeper, hidden seasonality, the agricultural truth that coffee is a fruit. A great roaster is on a year-long mission, following the harvest from Ethiopia to Guatemala to Colombia, always chasing the freshest, most flavorful beans for your cup. You're not going crazy. Your coffee really does taste different. But now you know it's not a mistake, it's a story. It's a sign of quality, a mark of freshness, and a challenge to explore the insane world of coffee. So the next time you take a sip and notice something new, you can smile, because you know you're tasting a season. If you had fun exposing the secrets of the coffee world with us, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Thanks for watching and stay curious.